There we go. There we go. Okay. Brought to you by Toadies. These are so freaking good. So, remember I was telling you guys, I could only find these ones. Well, today I went in and hello, and they had these ones. I'm so happy. They're so good. Oh my gosh. You have to try them, you guys. You can get them at any Mexican store. Oh, they're good. I promise you, they're very good. So good. I bought like 6 bags of them because, you know, when you're that far away and you love something so much, you have to get them. Rudy, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that with autism homestead. Hello. Hey, Lexi. How are you, my love? How are you feeling? I fell asleep for a little bit. I'm so tired. So I had today off, but I ended up working. For a couple hours anyways. That's the way it's going to be on my vacation. I know I'm going to have to work sometimes. That's just how it's going to be. So, but my boss did call me this morning. For some reason, that one day of my vacation was in pending mode. And she's like, I don't know why it is. It's got to be a glitch with the system. She's like, go ahead and don't come in. She's like, you've got today. And I'm like, sweet. So I'm officially off work until the 7th. That's when I come back. Whoop, whoop. I'm so excited. I need this break. And I went to the chiropractor today, which was nice. Took some liquid melatonin, kind of sleepy. Oh, does that work? I haven't tried melatonin in years. When I used to go to a naturopath, Lexi, I used to take that. And then I took licorice root too. It wasn't for sleep, but licorice root, I spent thousands of dollars on freaking, naturopathic, homeopathic type stuff. And thank you for the thumbs up. And yeah, it's... So the chiropractor was talking to me about my leg issue, and he's like, okay, so since you last were here, he goes, that issue with your leg could be a few different things. And one of the things he said, which is something I was wondering about, and hopefully it's not it, he said, oh, it's been years for you too. Well, I hope it works, sweetie, if you're having a hard time sleeping. He's like, it could be a few things, and then he goes, and it could be some scarier things. Hi, Robert. He goes, one thing is a blood clot, and I was like, I have wondered that myself, if I have a blood clot. I said, but I've had this issue since I had a back injury, right? And it's been so many years. Wouldn't that kind of take away that it could be a blood clot? He's like, I don't think it's a blood clot. He's like, but, I mean, not necessarily. Like, it could be, but I don't think it is. Can you be my sugar mama? Hi, Sean. Wow, where have you been? Hey, Clancy. But I have wondered if it was a blood clot, but he said he doesn't believe it is. He used all this terminology that I don't understand. But definitely, hey, Clara, he said, but he, what did he call it? I can't remember what he called it. You've been working 6 days a week. Dakota, what was your question? Oh my goodness. So I did have today off. Those of you that jumped in late, I did get a call from my boss this morning as I was getting up, getting ready to get ready for work. She's like, don't come in. You have, I don't know why it's in pending mode, but she's like, go ahead. My favorite color? Oh, I can't be your sugar mama. And my favorite color is, gosh, that's a hard one. Black? No, I'm just kidding. Gray, white. I don't really have a favorite color. Oh, I like different colors. Look to the right. Hey, Waste of Space. Hey, Dorian. I'm doing good. Yours is lilac. That's a pretty color. Lilac is nice. I like some different greens. I hate hunter green. I like baby blue. Jumpsuit looks good on you. This isn't a jumpsuit. Shush. But thank you. Gamer boy. You are fine. Just saying I would let you do whatever to me you wanted to do. Okay. What? Good boy. What does that mean? Sean says, I'm always in bed when you're live because I work 4:30. But you're not tomorrow, right, Sean? You're looking great. Thank you, Clancy. You never asked my question. What was your question? Aw, thank you, Sean. You guys, tell me if you've ever tried these. They are so good. I'm telling you. So, remember I told you there was one of my residents her best friend made this homemade things that I tried, and I had to find them. So these are the chili lime ones, right? I was looking for the original ones, but these were all they had in the store at the time. They're delicious, okay? But then today I went in, I was gonna buy some more of those, but these are a little bit of lime, but these are the original ones. Oh my gosh, you guys, these are so good. You get them at a Mexican store. In case you didn't see my compliment bill, I said you're looking great. Yeah, Clancy, I said thank you, honey. I just woke up from a little nap. Sosa's coming tomorrow morning, you guys. They're not onion rings. I don't even know how to they're just a crunchy yumminess. That's all I can say. He's not here. What's Sanrio? I like spicy, or however you say it. Just answered my question. I answered your question? Oh, it's Sosa there. In Texas, those type of chips are everywhere. I'm not a fan of them because they're a little too hot. No, they're not. These aren't hot, Clancy. Sosa's with my son right now, but he's coming tomorrow morning. My son said he's going to bring him in the morning. And I thought about it. If I have him come up and I keep him until Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If I keep him 6 days till next Thursday, then I'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I go back to work Monday. You don't work tomorrow. My favorite Sanrio is... What's Sanrio, you guys? What's Sanrio? I don't even know what Sanrio is. And I drank that stuff this morning, you guys. I tried this. I think I want to put it in milk or something because water, I mean, the flavor's not bad, but this stuff is not too bad. Eat those chip packets. Does Sosa do okay with the fireworks? He's never really had a problem. Waste of space. He's never really had a problem with fireworks. One time, I remember he howled. He howled once. Yeah. So, my dog hates fireworks. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What doesn't matter, Samuel? What doesn't matter? Maybe with my, Hey Jeff, Sean, are you still smoking? You're dead on the inside, Clara? I'm sorry. So remember I was telling you guys about the whole Joe Rogan, Bernie Sanders interview? I told you I got like halfway through. Well, before I fell asleep this evening, excuse me, I said, you know what? I'm going to listen to the rest of it. And pretty much I got the gist of it. I listened to the rest of it. And I know you guys are going to think, oh, you're still smoking, honey? You have depression? I'm sorry, Clara. Are you a chef? No. Please. No, not at all. What's it, Lexi, here in Houston? And believe it or not, you guys, I agree with a lot of things Bernie Sanders said. Ocean Footy, hello. I do agree with a lot of this. He makes sense. He was talking about taxes and, the top 1% and, how it's so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of agree with that. We used to slim. Claire, I'm sorry. I get that, honey. I get that. You got to find something that makes you happy. And another thing he was talking about is AI. And even though AI has made companies a lot of money and, it's the capabilities of it doing so many amazing things is wonderful, but also the negative side of AI and how companies now he's seen where companies have said don't hire humans, right? Why do the robots? We don't have to pay for their health care. We don't have to. They're not going to be calling in sick. They can work 24/7. So many things when it comes to the corporations that AI makes sense for, but the people. And so Joe Rogan was like, okay, Bernie, if you were the president of the United States, what would you do? How would you fix this? How would you handle this? And he started talking about it, and I was like, it makes sense. It does. And then the whole topic of, what's it called? Come on, you guys. Green. What's the term I'm thinking of? It's all about green and the earth and come on. I can't think right now. I'm keeping my head on a swivel in this town. Yeah, Lexi, I have 2 YouTube profiles, one famous, the other not. Why am I treated differently? Oh, so you should do call it a experiment. Sorry, my family fought against socialists and communists in Korea and Vietnam. I just cannot get... Clancy, have you ever listened to him speak? And I respect your opinion, and I have never said, oh, I like Bernie Sanders, but I'm just saying some of the things he says are the same, believe it or not, are the same ways Republicans think. So there's some things that I absolutely don't agree with him on, but he makes sense on some stuff. He's making sense right now. Jeff, are you talking about Bernie? I'm a kid over here. Oh, Clara, honey, we don't have kids in here. Can who read? Because we swear and talk about things in here that kids shouldn't hear. So thank you for coming in, honey. Have a good night. I'm gonna have to kick you out. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Lexi, and he was, they were talking about. I want you to hear some of it. Okay, that's my point. I don't know. Bernie will just say, well, that's a lot of politicians, I think, Sean, right? I mean, a lot of them do that. But there were some big wins for the Trump administration, talking about the books, the trans books in the kids, schools, and the forcing of that issue on children. How the hell someone can be this beautiful? Oh my gosh. Bernie needs to retire. He is 83, right? Big dog and pew pew. There you go. Thank you, Dorian. Thank you, guys. Oh yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know I did post on my description of the videos. If you ever look at the description, my Cash App is posted there if you ever want to send a tip, or my super chats are on, just so you know. Hi, Bincy. Is that how you say that, Bincy? Visit India, man. I don't have the money to be traveling to India, but any kids that stumble into this chat, this is not a kid-friendly channel. We talk about adult topics. I agree. Hello, Mohammed. Another peace treaty thanks to the Trump administration. Oh, Sean, and they are just trying to discredit, destroy anything and everything. Oh, it hasn't, Iran's nuclear capabilities have not been completely obliterated. It's yes, they have, no, they haven't, we're not sure. But I don't know. I don't know. It's so frustrating. But I want to play a couple. I think Bernie Sanders has okay, you guys, if we're gonna be honest, right? We have to admit and agree when somebody from the opposite side of the aisle, or maybe who doesn't align with our political views, identically. Is that what I'm saying? We are adult enough and to admit when somebody else makes sense, aren't we? We can't just say, oh, well, because Bernie's independent and Clancy has a strong feeling about him because his family, fought against Bernie's ideals, right? Bernie owns too many houses on civil service salary. Does he, Lexi? He signed another one today between the Congo and Rwanda. You know what happens, Sean, when peace comes? You know what the Bible talks about. Congo representative said Biden used to ignore her calls to help her end the war. Yeah, because that whole administration was fraudulent. Allegedly fraudulent. And they wanted as much problems, wars that could happen, because what does war bring, you guys? What does war bring, class? Let's say it. What does war bring? Trump just ended 30-year war with Congo. That's amazing. But you think he's going to get the credit? Why are you using a terrorist name, Mohammed? Oh, Viva Mexico, pretty woman. Oh, if you're Mexican, you've tried those little crunchy little exquisite chips? Now, don't get me wrong, Belle. I'm not trying to run people out of your channel. I would never do that to you. I was just saying for all the people that come in here saying stupid. No, Clancy, I know you wouldn't, honey. You're allowed to express your views, right? So I don't mind if you say that. You didn't say it in a rude way. Or watching from Kenya. Hello. home of Obama, right? Lexi, right about that. Bernie has like 3 homes. Is too many people profit off of. That's bingo. That's it, Sean. Yep. Wars bring money. That's right. The what I'm saying I agree with Bernie Sanders on is now I don't hear the Democrats saying, "Oh, too many corporations are making, too much money and we care about the American people and they need to make more money." I don't hear that. Well, I hear Bernie Sanders saying, the top 1% are being able to control everything. Hello, Grimace. Where are you from, my sexy baby? Can you say one word in Spanish? Sí. No, wait, hold on. There's another one. I know another one. Ciao? No, that's French. Hold on. What's another one? How do you say thank you in Spanish? I know how, I just can't think of it right now. Can I crack my knuckles? Porque. Abella, that's Italian. Oh wait, Abella. Dion, I was in the stream 2 seconds and already seeing gooning. Gracias, thank you. That's what, gracias, yes, that's right. I want to see if this person's had these before. And they will tell you guys, if they've had them, they will tell you how friggin' delicious they are, okay? Has anybody had these before? Oh my gosh. They're like $2.50 a bag, okay? And I went in there today and bought 6 bags because I can sit. The Supreme Court just told the lower courts the FO. Yeah, that's what they're talking about, Sean. There was that I was listening to the Trump and what's her name speak, talking about how it's not about Trump's agenda, because the reporters were asking, does it make you happy that it's your agenda that's being pushed? And Trump's like, the issue is we're getting back to the Constitution, not to my agenda. That's what people don't seem to understand. It's not his agenda. It's the Constitution has been ignored, torn apart, and the federal court judges have been just running rampant, all deciding things without the American people. Like, they've been deciding everything for us. It's been just a shit show. It's like we've all been sitting back going, how in the hell is this happening? It's not what the American people want. It's just when the Obama administration was in there, and Biden administration. Comey Barrett schooled Jackson from schools. Did you finish all your Snickers bar? Yeah, I went and bought some. Waste of space. Those are $7 a box every day, you guys. Everything's going up at least 5-10 cents. I swear, every single day. Yes, but the Supreme Court put those liberal judges in their place today. Can't mess with. Exactly, Robert. And I did listen. So I want to find what I was listening to on the way home. I can't wait to see Sosa tomorrow, you guys. There's Bernie. Look at his face. Look at Bernie's face. I'm sorry. That's kind of funny. Hold on. Oh, God, Newsom. Oh, I can't stand him. Gavin Newsom is just a freaking idiot. Okay. what was I? Oh God! And then I was listening to the body language expert, body language ghost, about Lindsey Graham. That guy is just a pig. I don't like him at all. Here it is. The Constitution has been brought back. This is what Trump said. Weekend at Bernie's. The people voted, and by majority. Hey, Viso. That's creepy. What's creepy, Dorian? That's right, our Constitution is not. I want to marry you and I want to drink it. Okay, that's weird. Hello? Obama had Biden on his puppet string. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I think Obama was, they tell on themselves, right? He did speak up when he was on an interview and he said, if I could run the country for another term from my basement and have somebody wear an earpiece and tell them what to say, I would do it. And I think that's exactly what happened. I don't have a body count. Bernie should star in a new Back to the Future movie if they waste his face. Thank you for not hating me for my opinion on Bernie's. No, Clancy. My grandma has a scar on his stomach and lost 75% of his hearing in Korea fighting socialism and communists. Well, you got to be proud of him, Clancy. That California governor is pathetic. Right? They're not for the people. Sean says, I'm glad I got in. I'm glad I got the greatest. I'm glad I got the greatest governor. I'm glad I got the greatest governor I'm glad I got the greatest governor in the United States. Investigate the auto pen. Yes, they've been doing that. I love that picture of Trump. Evil input. Nice 3-stripe. Yes, you do, Sean. Yes, you do. Gavin Newsom will say anything to. Yeah, and can you imagine if he were to become president, you guys? Ugh, that guy. Okay, I want you to hear this. Okay, listen.
For the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law, in striking down the excessive use of nationwide injunctions to interfere with the normal functioning of the executive branch, the Supreme Court has stopped the presidency itself. That's what they've done. And really, it's been an amazing period of time this last hour. There are people elated all over the country. I've seen such happiness and spirit. Sometimes you don't see that, but this case is very important. I was elected on
a
historic mandate, but in recent months we've seen a handful of radical left judges effectively try to overrule the rightful powers of the president to stop the American people from getting the policies that they voted for in record numbers.
Yep.
It was a grave threat to democracy, frankly, and instead of merely ruling on the
immediate
cases before them, these judges have attempted to dictate the law for the entire nation. In practice, this meant that if any one of the nearly 700 federal judges disagreed with the policy of a duly elected president of the United States, he or she could block that policy from going into effect or at least delay it for many years, tie it up in the court system. This was a colossal abuse of power which never occurred in American history prior to recent decades, and we've been hit with more nationwide injunctions than were issued in the entire 20th century.
Can you guys hear it okay?
Together, think of it, more than the
hey,
entire
Dakota.
20th century. Me.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
I'm grateful to the Supreme Court for
Hi.
stepping in and solving this very, very big and complex problem, and they've made it very simple. I want to thank Justice Barrett, who wrote the opinion brilliantly, as well as Chief Justice Roberts.
Right, Clancy.
And Justices Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Thomas. Great people.
Dorian,
thanks
that's right.
for this decision, and thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases
right,
we're talking
Sean.
about would be
The squad.
ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was
So
meant
do
for
you
the
guys know?
slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country. on a vacation.
What birthright
This was, in
citizenship
fact, it
was
the same
originally
date,
for?
The exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country.
Babies
under
of
birthright
slaves were
citizenship, and it
originally
wasn't
what
meant
it
for
was
that
for.
reason. It was meant for the babies of
Thank you,
slaves.
Robert.
So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing.
How is it, you guys, that, can you see, isn't that cute? How is it that all of our tax-paying dollars can go to everything but things for our country? Like, to help everybody except the citizens of our country. And if we speak up against it and say, whoa, wait a minute, what about our homeless that are on the streets? What about these, a lot of illegal people coming across the borders bringing rugs and, you know, and then trafficking is going on and all that. If you stand up against that, you're just beaten down and destroyed. What happened, where and when did it happen that not wanting those things in our country is so bad? Like, how did that happen? When did it switch? I've been trying to think, like, okay, when did that transition of thought, opinion, whatever, switch from wanting our country to prosper and not allow it to become a third world country? It's like, if you speak up against that, then you're a racist, or, you know, if you speak up against certain trans things that are going on, which I've said it many times. I say, people, do what you want. If you want to live your life as a transgender person, that's your right. You do that. Don't push it on our children. That's all I'm saying. And stop giving money to people to go in and get surgeries, and when there's people dying of cancer and other things that, you know, they can't afford to pay for, but they can't get help. Like, but inmates in prison can. It's backwards.
Necessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers
But
from
it's
paying
all part of
for
a plan.
transgender surgeries and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them.
We
I have
need
a whole
to take
list. I'm
care
not
of the
gonna
United
bore you,
States
and
and
I'm
not
gonna
take care of
have,
other countries.
Pam get up and
Just like we should be
say a
separate.
few words.
Yes,
Because really, she
Lisa,
can talk as long
yes.
as she wants, because this is a very important
Hey,
decision. This
Scarface.
is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank again the Supreme Court for this ruling.
Yes,
It's a giant.
I agree.
It's a giant. And they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court today. And with that, I'd like you to
That's right, Viso.
listen to the words of Pam Bondi. She's an incredible Attorney General. We're very proud of her. And as you know, Tom Blanche is with us.
Mandela.
And we have so many others that worked on this case and other cases. And I think they're doing a great job. Pam, please say a few words.
Yes.
Smokers lines, straw lines, stress lines,
Yeah,
whatever
you
you
guys,
call them.
it's-
There are these small fine lines.
And
on
there's
our roads that show
nothing,
up.
what do they call us? There's nothing, what's the word I'm looking for? They call us something, and I'm trying to remember the word, but there's nothing so extreme, that we're so extreme that we want to stand up and defend the people of our country. Like, how dare us?
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you for fighting for all
Be for
Americans.
president.
Americans are finally getting what they voted
That's
for.
right, Sean.
No longer will we have rogue judges striking down
I agree,
President Trump's
Scarface.
policies across the entire nation. No longer. Today, in the 6-3 opinion, Justice Barrett correctly holds that the district
That's
court
right,
lacks
Dorian.
authority to enter nationwide or universal injunctions. These
Okay, Pam Bondi kind of gets on my nerves. I'm going to say that. There's something about her I don't necessarily trust, but whatever. What Dorian said, the Democrats, they're not offering their people anything. I've said it so many times. Like, what are they fighting for? We're going to get Trump. That's where they're spending all the money, is to try to impeach Trump, try to go after Trump, try to go after anyone who supports Trump. You know, it's like, obviously they don't realize that if they just shut the hell up about Trump and let him finish his term, right? And they need to start working on what they're going to do for the Democrats. What is your plan? What are you going to offer them? I mean, what are you going to offer the people of the United States of America? Get Trump. That's not worked for you. That's not worked for you. They'd say we're the ones who drive hate. We're the ones who do that. I mean, what reality are we living in? It doesn't make any sense. But I saw something that I was like, yes. Today I saw, I think it was from not Newsweek. It was on a news channel. Newsweek. It said something like Eric Trump isn't against running for political office or something like that. I'm like, that's exactly what we need. Don Jr. or Eric to come up after Trump. Yep. And then you get Barron, right? Mm-hmm. Will Barron be old enough by that time? I wear everything that liberals calls us as a badge of honor. Yes, we don't want it to work for them. That means we're going to be in the White House forever. I mean, it's scary if they get power back that, we're screwed. Don't think there are any moderate Democrats left in the party. The radical left has completely absorbed the party, and anyone that speaks out against is attacked. Like Fetterman, yes. Let them flip out. Robert might be American Airlines. Hello. Hey, Michelle. It's okay to be a patriot. Other countries respect us because of our patriotism. Yes, Robert says, hell, you don't have to even be in the U.S. soil. A woman gave birth on a plane from Japan as it flew over Alaska airspace, which put in U.S. territory. The baby is American citizen. It's crazy. I know. Lexi says, don't mess with me. You need to take them out with your who, Dorian? Every time I see videos of liberals protesting, they always so aggressive. Yes, when you don't agree. Exactly. Most of us, I mean, of course you have your rotten apples in every bunch, but for the most part, what I see is conservatives, Republicans, whatever, they can have a conversation, they're not going to hate you and be mean to you and call you names and jump down your throat because you don't agree with our thinking, Thank you, Viso. Thank you for the sub. Thank you, Samuel. Okay, I'm going to get this green screen off of here. I hate the weirdness behind it. Okay, let's do that. I can't wait to see Sosi. I used to be a Democrat in 2015 until I learned that if I don't agree with them, they would shoot me down and not even give me a chance. Jeff's back, you guys. Okay, let's listen.
Lawless injunctions gave relief to everyone in the world instead of the parties before the court. As the Supreme Court held today, they turned district courts into the imperial judiciary. Active liberal judges have used these injunctions to block virtually all of President Trump's policies. To put this in perspective, there are 94 federal judicial districts. 5 of those districts throughout this country held 35 of the nationwide injunctions. Think about
the New
that.
York runner,
districts.
yes.
And 35 out of the 40 opinions with nationwide injunctions came from 5 liberal districts in this country. No longer. No longer. These injunctions have blocked our policies from tariffs to military readiness to immigration to foreign affairs, fraud, abuse, and many other issues. The judges have tried to seize the executive branch's
most of
power,
Trump's.
and they
And that's the other
cannot
thing too,
do
is
that.
they're like, oh, bow down to your God, your queen, Trump. It's like, just because we support what he's fighting for, it's ridiculous. Like, isn't that why we vote? Isn't that why they have voting? It's so people can get what aligns with what they think America needs or what they would like to see America have and become, get back to possibly. I mean, even old school values, and Bernie Sanders and Joe Rogan talk about it, like how nowadays there's no way in hell a family could live with just one parent working, most families, whereas back in the day, dad could go out to work, mom could stay and raise the kids, and you didn't see kids like you see now. There's just so much that goes into it that if it became, oh, it's terrible to be a stay-at-home mom, wait, what? Why is that terrible? If you stay home, raise your kids, and you're there to make sure they're not getting into trouble, you're there to give them the attention, you're there to take them to sports, keep them busy, you're there to help them with their homework. Like, it's not both parents are working, or it wasn't. Both parents are working, they're exhausted when they get home, so they get fast food, they don't have the energy to cook, they don't have the time to do the homework with the kid. There's so many things, like, but it's terrible if you want to be a stay-at-home mom. We are the deplorables. Yes, Lexi, I would vote for him to be the president for life, like Supreme Court judges. Are you talking about Trump, Robert? Me too. I'm a conservative that leans towards Trump. Grace, hello. I'm not a Dem, no. The left always has to have hate. They do, Sean. Imagine if Kamala won. Oh gosh, be so. Could you imagine? I'll never think like a Dem again. Now I'm a conservative who agrees with most. Okay, so I'm just looking. Okay, let's keep listening. Sorry.
No longer. No longer. And on immigration, on a side note, today marks 2,711 arrests on these terrorists and these gangs. Total arrest today with HSI investigations. And thank you, Stephen Miller. Thank you to Homeland Security. Thank you to everyone working hand in hand with the FBI on all of these transnational gangs. TDA has been a huge terror to our country, as well as MS-13, as well as Sinaloa cartels. No longer. No longer. These injunctions have allowed district court judges to be emperors. They vetoed all of President Trump's power, and they cannot do that. This has been a bipartisan problem that has lasted 5 presidential terms.
I'll be right back.
5 different presidents, and it has ended today.
Change my
We will
pants.
continue to fight for President
These
Trump's
jeans are getting
policies. I
uncomfortable.
want to thank the Office of White House Counsel Dave Warrington. You and your staff have been incredible. Our
You think,
Solicitor
Dorian,
General's
can you
office,
say
John
hi,
Sauer,
Gina?
Sarah
Hi, Gina.
Harris, and Todd Blanchett.
You think
and
she's
Will Bogey.
awesome?
Todd's going to say a
There's
few words
something
because
I'm
we've
not
had
so
another
I'm not so
major
sure about her
ruling
yet,
today on
Dorian.
transgender books and some other great
The
wins
transgender
that we've
books.
had. But no longer will they have this power in our country. It is the president's authority.
Where
under
they
this
were saying
executive
parents have
branch
no
to do
right
everything to
to-
fight for the American
for
people, and
what
we will
their
continue
kids
to
look
do
at
that.
at
That's why
school
he
or
was
anything.
overwhelmingly
That's
elected.
over with now.
Thank you.
Eating too much salt causes hypertension.
I mean, how
right?
absurd.
Nope. Not too much bacon and red meat. Nope. It's
That's absurd.
Thank you. Good
Mandela doesn't trust
a
her.
great day for the rule of law. It's a great day for the Justice Department.
I'm getting
And it's
fat,
one that's
you
been
guys,
a
look.
long time coming, and one that every American should have
I'm
been
gonna
waiting
change
for with bated breath. And so I echo what the President said, and Attorney General Bondi, that the Supreme Court did a great thing today, not only for this administration, but for every American in this country. If not for Lynn's case, we would be here talking about another great decision that came down today, the trans books case, which restores parents' rights to decide their child's education. Seems like a basic idea, but it took the Supreme Court to set the record straight, and we thank them for that. And now that ruling allows parents to opt out of dangerous trans ideology and make the decisions for their children that they believe is correct. And so we thank the Supreme Court for that. There's been multiple decisions over the past several weeks that just show why this nationwide injunction ban had to happen. For example, what I mean by that is local district court judges issuing decisions that are clearly contrary to law just because they don't like the policy of President Trump. And when it gets to the Supreme Court has to correct it. But that takes time. The Attorney General thanked our lawyers, and I'll do it again. Our lawyers are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to fight these injunctions and to emergency appeals, emergency stays, going back to the district court judge, asking them to change their view. And so their hard work is really paying off today, but over the past few weeks. We had a stay of an order that prevented DHS from moving aliens to a third country. We had a stay of an order that stopped the Department of Defense from implementing military readiness, the EO that President Trump signed. We had another stay of an order forcing reinstatement of fired executive branch employees entirely within the President in Article 2, his right to do. We had a stay of, as you all know, of numerous DOJ cases. And again, every one of those stays requires a tremendous amount of work and effort by the lawyers and parties involved, and they should be doing other work. They should be doing the work that the President and this administration demands and has a right to demand, and not fighting these local judges who don't make decisions based on the law. They make decisions because they just simply don't agree with the administration's decision about policy, and that's wrong. Thank you.
Any questions? Yes, the ma'am, please.
Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Attorney General. So as you know, the Supreme Court did not rule on the underlying constitutionality of the President's birthright citizenship order. So what is the plan now? Are you going to try to implement the EO just in states where there isn't a legal challenge?
Yes, so birthright citizenship will be decided in October in the next session by the Supreme Court, unless it comes down in the next few minutes. I guess it could come down. I think they're still deliberating right now on some cases. As you heard, we just got transgender books, which is a huge win. But most likely, that will be decided in October in the next session. However, it indirectly impacts us.
So they're talking about the
because, as you
transgender
correctly
books
pointed
right
out,
now, you
if there's
guys.
a birthright citizenship case in Oregon, it will only affect the plaintiff in Oregon, not the entire country. So yes, it's indirectly, but that's pending litigation.
You
We're
like
working on
her,
that in
honey?
the next term.
And how concerned are you that the
Lexi,
Supreme Court will come
you
back
trust her?
and determine that the executive order is
Oh,
unconstitutional?
we're very confident in the Supreme Court, but again, it's pending litigation, and that will directly be determined in October, but it indirectly impacts
true,
every case in this country, and
Dorian,
we're
I
thrilled
remember
with their
that.
decision today. Peter.
Madam Attorney General, thank you for being here to take our questions. A couple questions to the both of you. The EO had a 30-day grace period before it goes into effect. Is there any thought about trying to make it effective immediately within that period of time?
We're going to follow the law. We're going to make those decisions, and we're going to do what's right in the bounds of the law.
And then
She is
the DOJ
cute,
didn't
yeah.
ask the justices to rule on the merits of the birthright citizenship.
No more Adidas.
ban, just for explanation purposes, why?
A lot of
Sure, because that's
people,
going to come down
a
in
lot of
October
Republican women
in the
are
summer.
very
This was
beautiful,
huge
too.
because it's indirectly impacted today.
Not-
As
it
I
doesn't have
said,
anything to
it's
do
now
with
it's case by
that,
case.
but it
Let
just-
me reiterate,
yeah.
of the 35 of the 40 nationwide injunctions filed against this president against his executive authority as
Listen
president
to
of the
the
United
states.
States, 35 of them came
Listen.
from Maryland, D.C., Massachusetts, California, Washington. I mean, that's crazy.
My state's
These
one of them.
5 districts. So yes,
Freaking
it indirectly
ridiculous.
impacts us. It
I
will be a
hate
separate
this
decision
state.
in October. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. President. A question for you, sir. Do you believe this ends the power of the lower court judges to stop your agenda? Do you see this as
us a full green light for your agenda going forward?
Well, you'd have to really speak to the lawyers about that.
The
But
agenda. This is what I was
really
talking
also
about.
a decision based on common sense. It didn't work the other way. It was a disaster where somebody from a certain location in a very liberal state or a liberal judge or a liberal group of judges could tie up a whole country for years because
Yeah.
their decision would sometimes take years to overturn. We've overturned many of the decisions, but it would take years to do it. And we have to act
Oh,
quickly
yeah.
when it comes to illegal immigration. We have murderers, killers, we have drug dealers, we have what they've allowed to come into our country. Should never be forgotten. It should never be forgotten what they've done to our country. And we
You
have to
guys-
be able to act very quickly, and we're going to do that. Thank you.
Look at freaking Kensington, you guys. Look at Kensington.
Here in this case, she has taken some heat though from some of your supporters.
Keep playing and talking. Okay, you're disgusting.
What is your take on that? Do you think
I just have great respect
Pam
for her.
has
I
only
always
been on the
have.
job for a few
And,
months. I'll give her a
decision
few years
was
to prove
brilliantly
herself.
written today from all
Yeah,
accounts.
Robert, that's true. Aquarium baby, hi.
Americans who fear the
The
business
sleeper cells have been called to terrorize their soul. Oh my gosh.
Well, this one brings back the Constitution.
Hey, Aquarium baby, how are
This is
you?
really the opposite of that.
Nice to
The
see you,
question's fine,
honey.
but it's the
No,
opposite.
fully.
The Constitution has been brought.
The Constitution has been brought back. That's what he said. It's not about his agenda. It's about the Constitution has been brought back. Liberal judges letting criminals go. Disgusting. Hello, Mossy.
Zero. Does everyone hear that?
Good. You're doing good? We're going to
I like him.
see, Trump is down to earth, you know? Like,
With this new reality President Trump in the border, do you intend to engage personally with leaders
I
from
need to get a speaker.
South America, not only Central America, in order to
I do that
tackle
anyway.
his situation
I
in
do
a
that
different
anyway.
way, and if you have a perspective of meeting some presidents from South America, Brazil, for example?
As an example, not South America, but NATO over the weekend. They have great respect for our country now. They did things that nobody thought was possible. They took funding from 2% to 5%. Nobody thought they'd ever pay the 2%, and now they're paying the 5%. It's over $1 trillion more a year. Think of that, $1 trillion. Nobody thought that could happen. That's a different group of people, different countries. Yeah, but we get along with a lot of countries. We are respected again. Our country, the U.S., is respected again. Was not respected 6 months ago. I can Yeah, go ahead, Trace.
Mr. President, you haven't
Bluetooth connected. Which countries, on trade on tariffs, which countries, if any, are close to agreements with the administration?
Well, that's an interesting question. We've made a deal with China. We've made a deal with probably 4 or 5 different countries. With the UK, it was a great deal for both. And we're in the process of making some others. But ultimately, in fact, Scott is here. And Howard Lutnick, these 2 guys have been doing an incredible job. And the people that work with them have been doing an incredible job.
yeah,
But, you know,
I've
we
been
have
hearing
200
about the
countries,
sleeper
you could say
cells
200 countries
Aquarium
plus. You
baby.
can't do that. So
It's really
at a
scary.
certain point over the next week and a half or so, or maybe before, we're going to send out a letter. We
Why is it doing
talked to
that?
many of the countries, so we're just going to tell them what they have to pay.
I've been, they've been talking about, because remember years ago, Robert, Sean, when we were talking about I was showing you guys knew about them, but we were just looking it up about the terrorist camps, right? Where our law enforcement is not allowed to go into. The American law of enforcement, right? Police are not allowed to go onto these camps. And that's what they're doing. They're setting up for when something like this happens. Yes, V, so I agree. Hope you're well. The extremists in Dearborn, Michigan have been coming out saying they are ready to go. These are people that were allowed in by our own government, right? Aquarium baby, that's so true. Pam is great at speaking but not taking action. Kind of like Obama, right? He just has common sense, that's all. Right, Mandela. Hey, Donna. Dearborn is a Muslim city We're talking about the sleeper cells that are in our country in every state. They have camps set up in every state. And I should go back and find that video where it shows us where they are.
Do business in the United States, and it's going to go very quickly. But some of the bigger countries,
true.
India, I think we're going
The
to
Congress
reach a
does.
deal where
Hey,
we have the right to
AAA.
go in and trade. And right now, it's restricted. You can't walk in there. You can't even think about it. We're looking to get a full trade barrier dropping, which is unthinkable. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen. But as of this moment, we've agreed to that, go into Indian trade. We're going to be trading in China. That's going to come a little bit down the road, but we're going to be trading in China. We have a lot of great things going, and we're getting along with countries, but some will be disappointed.
I want to know
because
why
they're gonna have to
Pam
pay
Bondi
tariffs.
hasn't
And
brought out the
we've
Epstein
taken in
files.
already hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. No inflation. The only problem we have is we have a Fed guy that doesn't understand what's happening, and it would be great if he'd lower the rate because we'd be able to borrow a lot cheaper. Yeah, go ahead, please. Why do we keep it on this subject? This is such a big subject. You know what? Trade is so big, but this, I don't know, in a certain way, this might be bigger than trade. I think this is bigger than trade. Yes, please, go
I
ahead.
was wondering though if you could,
Go ahead.
sir, on the transgender ruling, the Supreme Court ruling that parents
275,
with religious objections can pull their kids out of public school lessons that use LGBTQ materials. Pam brought it up. Your reaction to that ruling today, sir?
I think the ruling was a great ruling, and I think it's a great ruling for parents. It's really a ruling for parents. They lost control of the schools. They lost control of their child. And this is a tremendous victory
Yeah.
for parents. And I'm not surprised by it, but I
It's
am
common
surprised that it went
sense.
this far.
Parents should be the ones
It
making
took us
choices
to
for their
bring life back
kids,
to
not the
normal. So
schools.
it's a wonderful, it's parental.
Michelle,
And I
I
kept
agree.
saying, we will give you back your parental rights. They were taken away, and this is a tremendous victory for parents. Yeah.
Mr. President, if you look at the fact of the last week, it's been extraordinary in terms of the action in the Middle East. You were at The Hague. I'm wondering
Hell of a
now,
week, hasn't it?
I'm wondering now if you
It's
believe
been
that
so
Iran.
weak.
I'm wondering now, sir, if you believe that Iran has given up its long history of ambitions with nuclear weapons, or what you would like to see from them to prove that they do, and what type of meetings is your administration looking for next week with Iran?
So Iran wants to meet.
Thank you
As
for
you
the
know,
thumbs
their
up,
sites were
guys.
obliterated. They're very evil nuclear sites. They were, now has been proven. We had some fake news for a little
They're
while.
trying to get the Millie
The same people that covered the Hunter
About-
Biden
I saw
laptop was
that
from
occurring,
Russia.
baby.
The same people that did 3 or 4 other Russia hoax.
But on their ambition.
No, wait, just listen. They came up with something that delayed the credit that our great pilots and these great what talent that was, and they hit it right down in the spot. 52,000 feet. Think of this dark, no moon, you couldn't see a thing. And they hit the refrigerator door, as they say. That's the size of a target. And overwhelmingly, and it's amazing what was done. With the other ones that could have done it. And we took out the other, 2 of the other
I can't help it,
sites also.
Alaska.
In addition to that, we finished them all.
I haven't eaten
That
dinner.
was
I'm gonna have some
very
soup, I
evil
think.
intention. I believe that,
On my
and
hair.
again,
Oh, drive
time
me
will
nuts.
tell, but I don't believe that they're gonna go back into nuclear anytime soon. They spent over $1 trillion on nuclear and they never got it together. And nothing was moved from the site, by the way. To do that is very dangerous. It's very, very heavy material. Those cars were most likely
That's
the
okay.
cars of masons because they were pouring concrete at the top, at the hatch, as you know, the hatch going into the nuclear site. They wanted to reinforce it, and they had some masons
this is my
there
apartment,
pouring concrete.
baby.
By the way, that concrete was obliterated. It hit exactly at the concrete. It was, I don't think it had a
November.
chance to dry. But everything's down there. It's under millions of tons of rock.
I started using Renewal Lift every morning, and I literally, I noticed a big difference almost in.
Please. Yes.
Your administration has said that El Salvador is one of the safest countries in the hemisphere. So why haven't you yet canceled temporary protected status for that country? Was it part of the deal?
Well, we'll take a look. We've had a
Okay,
great
well,
relationship with El
not
Salvador.
gonna
They have a
listen to the whole
fantastic
thing.
leader, grossly incompetent. Nobody knew it was him because I don't think it was him.
I mean, no other administration did this, sat there and answered people's questions like this, you know? No, I moved into an apartment because of my job, honey, remember? I think you should do one of those snack reviews where you order a box of goodies from foreign. I thought about that, but it's expensive. I thought about that, like from Japan or something. That might be fun. That's a good idea. Maybe I should do that. We've taken in $88 billion in tariffs, Trump said. And that's just, nothing has even totally started. You know what I mean? I cannot find these, you guys. Every store's out. Go to a farmer's market. But do they have all the different stuff? You do a lot of gummies. Aquarium Baby. You guys, just so you know, those of you who are new, Aquarium Baby has been with us since the beginning of time, since I started, really. She's been around. Sometimes she's gone for a while, but she's been here for a very long time. And I love it when people pop back in who haven't been in a while. So it's nice to see you, sweetie. But yeah, I don't know if you remember, I got a job after my divorce, and it's been a wild ride. I just celebrated in April my year here. Yeah.
It was whoever was controlling the auto pen, but our country is doing great. And those leaders and other leaders I just left, as you know, a large group of the most highly respected people, and that includes big country. Social Security will follow. If you vote for the Democrats, you're dead on those three things.
Thank you, Mr. President. On a related subject, many Democrats have said that they are not going to support crypto bills in Congress only because of you and your family's personal crypto ventures. And these votes are in some cases needed to pass. Are you open to the idea of pulling away from your personal crypto ventures just for the next few years if that helps get these crypto bills passed in the next few months?
Well, it's a very funny thing, crypto. So I became a fan of crypto, and to me it's an industry. I view it as an industry, and I'm president. And if we didn't have it, China would, or somebody else would, but most likely China. China would love to. And we've dominated that industry. It's a big industry, by the way. In fact, when the stock market went down recently, crypto and Bitcoin and all of that went down much less than anybody else as a group. And we've created a very powerful industry, and that's much more important than anything that we invest in. We invest in it, but really that was an industry that wasn't doing particularly well. I got involved with it a couple of years ago, and before the second term, I got involved before I decided to run. I only decided to run because I saw what was happening, and Biden was incompetent, and the administration was crooked and incompetent. And I was in Bitcoin then, not knowing if I was going to do it a third time.
Thanks for the idea, you guys. That's a good idea, Robert. I might do that. That's just for something different, you know? Well, maybe I'll do I'll upload just a video about it. Good night, Sean. Nice to see you. Don't be a stranger.
So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces, and I notice more and more you're paying Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar.
I have a crown, yes.
And it's a great thing for our country. So I don't care about investing. You know, I have kids.
Those attacks were. Congratulations on that treaty. There are talks that perhaps...
That's going to take place today at 3 o'clock in the Oval Office. We're going to have a signing with Rwanda and the Congo.
There you go.
So I'm a little out of my league in that one because I didn't know too much about it. I knew one thing. They were going at it for many years, and with machetes, it is one of the worst wars that anyone's ever seen. And I just happened to have somebody that was able to get it settled. Just a brilliant person.
Nice and down to earth.
He's very comfortable in that part of the world.
Before he was, hey Judge, how are you? Thanks for popping in. You typically don't stay long, but it's my Friday night. It's Friday night. I'm on vacation, so woohoo. I'm heading out. See you soon. Good night, honey. Good night, Aquarium Baby. Yeah, everybody. Hey, Tomek. Everybody keep your head on a swivel because they're gonna, yeah, I believe that, Aquarium Baby, they're gonna be coming out. We've got them all over. I mean, we were talking about this back in 2016, right? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Everybody wish Alaskan Unknown happy birthday. Judge, are you sipping on some brandy or not brandy, bourbon or something? We were talking about it a long time ago, and it's that they've been preparing for this day, you guys. Okay, so I want you to listen.
At Les Schwab, our above and beyond service means more hustle.
And that's why you end up, what schools my kid go to? All the time to really seriously discuss things rather than 7-second sound bites, you know. But if you take a look at where we are as a nation today, the system is not working, it's broken. It ain't working for ordinary human beings. So you have in America today where we have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had in the history of this country. Awesome. That's just a fact.
What are they about?
You have one man, Mr. Musk, owning more wealth than the bottom 52% of American families. One man, 52% of the American families.
Yeah.
You got the top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 93%. You got CEOs of large corporations making 350 times what their workers make. And meanwhile, in this richest country in the history of the world,
no,
working class people are getting decimated. Today, and again, we don't talk about it in Congress for reasons that I hope I can get into.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it in the corporate media. 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, I grew up in a
ridiculous.
family. I don't know your background, but I grew up in a family, lived paycheck to paycheck. And anyone who lives paycheck to paycheck understands that every single day is a struggle. You know, you got to figure out how you feed the kids, rents, cost of house.
Well, Judge, I hope you have a good time, honey. What do you think about the Jeff Bezos? You know, I didn't see it, Alaskan Unknown. I've been able to catch little things here and there, but I have not seen anything about the Bezos wedding. Judge, thank you for taking the time to pop in, honey. I know you're busy. 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, you guys. 60%. And think about it. That's even in like two income households, right? Where both parents are working and they still can't make it. Some people can't even. I was working 3 jobs, remember? And my rent was $2,200. Bernie is receiving money from Big Pharma. Well, and he talks about that as well, Big Pharma, Lexi.
In America, off the charts, healthcare off the charts. So right now, as we talk, there are people worrying. My landlord, you know, is going to raise my rent by 20%. What the hell do I do? Where do I go? What schools do my kid go to? How do I buy decent food for my kids? My mother is ill. How do I afford prescription drugs for my mother? My car breaks down. You know, so you know, if you have money, no one thinks of it. Your car breaks down, go to the mechanic, you get it fixed. You know what? A lot of people don't have $1,000 in the bank right now.
Right.
If you don't have $1,000, your car breaks down. How do you get to work? If you don't get to work, you get fired. If you get fired, your whole life is disrupted.
Yep.
60% of American.
How much different is that than past generations?
It's that we've always had rich and poor, no question about it. It's worse now, Joe.
What do you attribute that to?
I attribute it to decades-old attacks on the working class of this country. I attribute it to horrific trade agreements, which have allowed corporate America to throw millions of workers out on the street and move to China, Mexico, and other low-wage countries. I attribute it to a corrupt political system in which billionaires have significant control over both political parties. Mm-hmm. So that, for example, right now in Washington, the national minimum wage is $7.25 an hour.
$7.25 an hour. How much is a sub sandwich? I think he talks about a sandwich, a hamburger. Think about it. 10 something if you have a meal, right? Whatever. And Joe Rogan was talking about a place where it was like $25 for a sandwich. And I'm like, who in the hell? Hagen's, their deli, they have like the croissant sandwiches and the other sandwiches. They were $10 just a month and a half ago. They're $12 now. And at $12 for a fucking deli sandwich, excuse my language, a deli sandwich. I'm English. I'm from America, yes. $12 for a sandwich, 2 pieces of bread. One of them only had vegetables on it. It's like, so it's not less. One had meat, one had vegetables. They were the same price. So if a sandwich is $25 and you're making $7 an hour, so you have to work 3.5 hours to afford a freaking sandwich. Well, for one, I wouldn't buy a $25 sandwich, I'll tell you that. I wouldn't even buy the $12 one. So, but the point is how in the hell are you supposed to survive? How are you supposed to feed your family? How are you supposed to do it? $7 an hour? It's ridiculous.
So you got millions of workers today, making 10, 12, 13 bucks an hour. You tell me, how do people survive on 13 bucks an hour?
That's
when we
crazy.
were kids, or at least when I was a kid, you worked for a large company. You had something called a defined benefit pension plan. That means you worked for me for 30 years. When you retire, you're going to get X hundreds of dollars a week. That's long gone. Corporations have gotten rid of that.
Yep.
So you got something like half of older workers in America have nothing in the bank when they face retirement. So I think, to answer your question, I think you got a rigged system controlled economically and politically by very, very wealthy and powerful people who could care less for working families. Now, I don't want to romanticize the old days because that would not be true. But there used to be kind of a culture. If I was a boss and I ran a factory, I had a little bit of concern for you.
Listen
right?
to this.
In general, I would say, I know your wife has the...
This is important. Yeah, how much it costs to bury yourself. Exactly. And like Viso's saying, a car, a truck. Look how, it's crazy how much they cost. My posse's on Broadway, me and Kid Sensation at home, away from home in the black bins. Lima. I used to have one of those cell phones that was attached to the car. Oh my gosh. Listen to what he says here, you guys. This is important. It's so true. Listen.
How's your mom doing and all that stuff? That's gone. You got these companies that are owned by other companies that are owned by supranationals. We got involved in my office. We used to be the chairman of the labor committee, health, education, labor. So I got involved in a lot of stuff. And when workers were out on strike, we would call up and see what was going on, see how we can help. So we call up to the company and we'd say, why are you cutting back on health care for your workers? Well, we don't make that decision. It's owned by somebody else. Call up somebody else. Well, we're owned by somebody. You know how it is. It's just huge conglomerates own the bloody world. And these guys don't give a damn about the needs of working people. So I would say that the economy becomes less and less personal. I have noticed you're my worker. I have no care about you because right now I'm owned by an international who doesn't know that you exist.
And there's also a diffusion of responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's not even in your hands.
Exactly. So the local boss might say, hey, listen, I'm really sorry, but I didn't have any decision in here.
Right. There's nothing I can do.
Nothing I can do. So I add all of that up and you have...
So what he's saying is it used to be when you worked for a corporation, like the boss would interact with you. The boss would, ask you how your family's doing. There would be a relationship. Now they don't even know who you are. You're just another number and you're making them rich. That's all they care about. They don't care if someone in your family is sick with cancer. It used to be so different. And that's what he's talking about.
And then just look at other things. You tell me about the healthcare system. Does anybody in America think this healthcare system is working?
Well, you could tell by the assassination. When the assassination of the United Healthcare guy, when that happened, there was people celebrating. When is there ever someone gets assassinated on the streets of New York City and people celebrating?
Right. That's terrible. It's terrible, but it does speak to how people feel about insurance companies.
Right. Well, and I think rightly so, because it's not what you're paying for. What you're paying for is you're hoping that you never get sick, but if you pay your insurance, you will be covered. What they're trying to do is make it as difficult as possible for you to get money from them.
You got it. That's the more
They
money,
want
the
your
more I can
money.
deny you, the more
Right.
money
They
I
don't want to
get.
give you your money.
And that's the bottom
out
line. And when
you
you're
need
dealing
it.
with these enormous corporations, like we're talking about this diffusion of responsibility, the people that are doing it, it's like, this is what I have to do. This is my job. They don't even think about it.
This revolutionary teeth cleaner is saving Americans from expensive and painful dental surgeries. It quickly and easily removes tartar plaque and even stains.
Right, exactly.
And this all started when? Like so Michael Moore had that brilliant documentary,
Okay.
Roger and Me.
Yeah.
When he mentioned Michael Moore, I'm like, oh, that guy is a pig. I cannot stand Michael Moore, you guys. So I do not like him. Joe Rogan and Bernie Sanders loves Michael Moore. He was a total anti-Trumper. He was a disgusting slob, and he makes me sick. But okay, so just so you know, I don't like Michael Moore.
Yeah,
Love
I know
that
Michael's a good friend, yeah.
Michael's
He's a great
friend.
guy. That documentary is fantastic, and it shows the impact of a corporation taking all their factories, moving them away like that with no warning, no recourse, nothing anybody can do, decimates basically all of Detroit.
That's right. People don't know this,
Yeah,
but if my memory is correct, Detroit used to be in the 50s.
third richest city in the world.
You got
Third
it?
richest
Yes.
city.
Yeah, we
Detroit
talked
used
about it
to be.
multiple times.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Right.
And especially meat and what happens with, I mean, there's supposedly documented terror cells that got in through the open border over the last 4 years. So what happens now in America? What happens on American soil?
Sure. No, I mean, I agree with those.
When a guy like Thomas Massey steps up and says something, he's going to have a lot more support as well.
The answer is yes. And my only point is he has a right.
Yes.
You know, somebody else says, hey, I think the war is a great idea. Fine, that's your
Right.
view. You got to go back. But what bothers me is that if anybody stands up, the next day, we're going to primary. You're out of here, man. And that's the Republicans. Let me talk about the Democrats for a moment, okay? And I don't even know your views on this, so you may disagree with me. You know, Israel was attacked by Hamas. Hamas is a terrible terrorist organization. They killed 1,200 people, which in a small country like Israel is a lot of people. Terrible, terrible attack. It's a war crime. Israel had a right, in my view, to defend itself. But the Netanyahu government did not have a right to kill 52,000 people in Gaza, wound well over 100,000. And right now, as we speak, Joe, children are starving to death because of Israel's blockades.
Yeah.
Starving to death. And I brought forth 2 resolutions, which basically were very simple. And they said no more U.S. military aid to Israel under these conditions. One vote got 15 votes in the Senate,
I
and the
want
other
to
one got
play
16.
the part I was hearing earlier.
Do you think that, your billionth dollar, you know what I mean? It's not your first dollar. It's not
So if
like-
you make $1 billion, you pay $900 million? in
No,
taxes?
no, that's not what it means. It means I'm about the future of humanity in general.
Which is the problem with financial competitiveness. When you put that almighty dollar
You got
above
it.
all else,
That's right.
then all you think about, and you're only alive for 100 years, so it's just hit the gas. Hit the gas for 100 years, and who gives a shit what happens after I'm gone? I'm going to die with the most toys. Yay,
he
I
talks
win
about
in the
hope-
dirt.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
And that is, which takes us to another issue,
okay.
and that is
This.
artificial intelligence and robotics.
This. Okay.
Automation.
Automation.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Giant issue.
huge issue. All right.
Yeah.
So let's back it up.
Visa. Hi, Happy Life.
Americans
He's talking
are
about
angry.
artificial
And
AI.
one of the reasons they are angry is that over the last, just give you one fact here, last 52 years, you and I understand, everybody in the world understands, there's been a huge explosion in technology, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing today never could have happened 50 years ago. Factories far more automated, offices far more automated. I became mayor of Burlington, Vermont in
guys hear it okay?
1981.
What are you
There was
saying?
not a computer in the building, okay? So
By the
that's-
way, great town.
1981. There was no computer in his office.
in any case, an explosion in technology, significant increase in worker productivity, right? We're talking to millions of people now, never could have happened before, right?
Right.
That's true. Workers are producing a lot more.
Yes.
Tell me, how are real inflation accounted for wages been over the last 52 years with all of that increase in worker productivity. Workers doing a lot better.
Yeah,
Not so-
so with the increase in worker productivity, has it made the minimum wage go up? Has it made people make more, given the people who made this possible more money? No, but it's made the corporations more money. This is what he's talking about.
Not so good.
No.
In fact, there are studies out there that suggest in real inflation accounted for dollars, wages are actually lower now than they were 52 years ago. Okay.
Wages are lower
And during
now
that same
than they
period,
were
there's a
52
massive
years
transfer
ago.
of wealth
Like when you
from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. So that's what technology has done over the last 50 years. And it's not, there was a study, I don't know if you saw this, it blew me away. I can't remember who did it, Kaiser, some reputable guy, people did it. This is what they said. They do a poll to the American people and they say, Americans, do you think you are better off today than somebody in your situation, your middle class, whatever you may be, was 40 years ago? Okay? Are you better off today than somebody in your circumstance would have been 40 years ago? What was the answer? What do you think?
Yeah.
And what the answer was, and we got to deal with this one. This is big. The answer was, there were a number of people say, hey, look, I got a cell phone. It's great. I got a big screen TV.
Right.
It's great. I can fly all over the world. It's great. I get sick. I get treatment now that I never could have had 40 years ago, right?
Those are facts.
All really positive developments. But on average, most people said, I think the situation is worse today than it was 40 years ago. And that is what we got to deal with. So you can have all the technology in the world.
Right.
What the hell does it mean if your life is not improving? In fact, in many ways, getting worse.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I again, we'll go back to polls again, because I don't necessarily believe
Dang,
that polls
Robert,
are totally accurate, but I do think that the issue with it being virtually impossible for one person to sustain the entire family these days, one worker, the father or the mother, whoever it is, to sustain the entire, that's a giant issue. All these issues when it comes to
Climate change,
labor,
that's what I was
when it comes to minimum wage, I think you and I are in agreement on all these. I think the minimum wage in this country is ridiculous. I mean, to $7, what?
It's insane.
It's insane. How do you live off $7? You go to Jimmy John's, you get a sub. How much is a sub? How much is a sub, like a big sub at Jimmy John's? Some guy was just did a TikTok video where he's like, they're trying to say that minimum wage $15 is too much. I think he had a sub that he bought for $25. So imagine that's your lunch. So imagine you have to work 3.5 hours just to pay for a sandwich. Imagine how insane that is.
It's insane.
That's insane. Like, how do you eat? How do you eat dinner? How do you eat lunch?
Joe,
how do you eat breakfast?
I have talked to people who make 10, 12 bucks an hour trying to raise a kid.
Jesus.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, the argument against that is, hey, these are entry-level jobs that are supposed to be for kids.
No, and that's factually incorrect. Yeah, of course, that's true to some degree.
To some degree, but if you have grown adults that are working those jobs, now it becomes disgusting.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Especially when you're dealing with an enormous corporation.
You got it.
Right.
So we put a lot of pressure. We are trying to raise the minimum wage, federal minimum wage, to $17 an hour.
That's a reasonable amount of money. I mean, it's going to be real difficult to live off of $17 an hour.
But at least, that's right.
At least you get a sandwich in under 2 hours worth of work.
I'm sorry, Mr. GM, and I'm sorry, Mr. Ford, because this country is more than just your profits. We got human beings, and you're not going to throw people out on the street.
Okay, there's a
Many of
part
them will
you
have a hard
talked
time
about
getting
that I
health care,
want
et
to
cetera,
play.
et cetera. Like, what, 10 teaspoons of sugar in that product?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't think people... Exactly.
Yes.
All right. So that's what we got to start thinking about. It's not just...
People that make the decisions. There's the executives. There's the corporation itself.
So I think we have to take a deep breath. And many of the things, what has been the impact of all this stuff? How do we stop the negative impacts? How do we go forward with what is positive? And it is not easy stuff, to be sure. But what I worry about right now is I think artificial intelligence is going to displace millions and millions of workers. People are going to be thrown out on the streets. I think the corporate guys who are running these companies could care less about these workers.
That's crazy.
I think robotics is going to be running a lot of the factories in America.
Listen to this.
And I think these are issues we just have got to address in a bold way.
Yes, but how do you do that? And like you're balancing it out in one way. If you are a corporation, like imagine you're an automobile.
The second thing I think we have got to do is take a look, as you just said, you said it, better than I said it, is what does it mean that we have so many young kids living on the internet?
This is
Right.
what important.
Also from the perspective of a corporation where you deal with human issues, problems, mistakes, people showing up late.
Why
not
do I
doing their
need you
job
when I can
correctly.
get a robot?
Exactly.
You're not going to get sick.
Right.
I can fix you a lot easier than paying for your health care and so forth.
Right. So what do you do? What do you do about that? So if you're the president and President Sanders, we have this issue, the whole country is going to go automation.
question.
What do we do?
All right. First of all, we make the determination that we are not going to let a handful of CEOs make these decisions, that they're going to be made by the American people. What does that mean? Bottom line, it means that technology is going to work to improve us, not just the people who own the technology and the CEOs of large corporations. What does that mean? All right, first thought. You are a worker. Your productivity is increasing because we give you AI, right?
Right.
All right. Instead of throwing you out on the street, I'm going to reduce your work week to 32 hours.
That would be amazing.
So you're gonna have
A
4-day work week?
32-hour
Exactly.
work week.
And by the way, not a radical idea.
Not a radical idea at all.
There are companies around the world that are doing it with some success. The UAW, the United Automobile Workers, they had a big strike a year ago. You remember, against the Big Three? Remember that? Mm-hmm. And they won a very good contract, and I'm a big fan of the trade union movement. I think workers need that. And one of their demands, interestingly enough, and people thought that Sean Fain, who was the president of the union, was crazy. But Sean said, you know what, we want a 32-hour work week because our people are producing more. People thought he was crazy, but the idea is catching on. So first thing to say is, let's use technology to benefit workers. That means give you more time with your family, with your friends, for education, whatever the hell you want to do. You don't have to work 40 hours a week anymore. The second thing I think we have got to do is take a look, as you just said, you said it, better than I said it, is what does it mean that we have so many young kids living on the internet?
Right.
All right. There are schools all over the country now who are getting cell phones out of schools. I talk to teachers in Vermont, and they say,
if you want to
kids'
listen
attention
to
spans now
this,
have been greatly.
if you want to hear the rest of this interview, which I think it was like an hour and a half, Joe Rogan with Bernie Sanders. I think Kamala Harris was invited to come on his show 20-something times, and she wouldn't do it. That woman makes me sick. But anyways, it's a pretty good interview. And Bernie Sanders does make a lot of sense, I have to say. I mean, I'm not saying that I just call you G. That's right. Now, I'm not saying that that he that I agree with everything he says, but he does make some good points that I agree with. Oh, here's some old videos of Lisa. What's this one? She's gone downhill. That's why it's going to run fast. Wow.
Yeah.
Was there something else I was going to play? There it is. Nobel Peace Prize. You deserve it. African reporter thanked Trump for peace deal between Congo and... Hold on. Let me see. Okay, where is my... Hold on a second. So what I was talking about before too was the, what you call it, Kensington, and look at how bad, Kensington, as well as Seattle, has become an open air drug market. I mean, where people are literally living on the streets and they're up all night, all day, doing drugs, right out in the open. And it's okay. Like, nothing happens to them. The police don't do anything. The West Clan is back. Hey, West Clan. Nice to see you again. Hey, Jerry. Nice to see you. Thank you for becoming a member. I know you did a while back, but I just wanted to thank you again. I know there's a way I gotta figure out how to give away memberships. Hey, AG, how are you? So again, you guys, if you want to send a little tip for little old me to buy Sosa a treat or whatever, I've got my Cash App in the description of each video, and I've got super chats. Yep, it's good to see you too. Thank you. So how about this? You guys, each of you, give me your opinion on Bernie Sanders. What do you guys think of Bernie Sanders? And if you listened to what I just played, did you agree with anything he was saying? Is there anything that you can think of that you heard him talk about and his view on things that you agree with? If so, what would you agree with that he talked about? It's important to notice and name it when you can agree with somebody from the opposite side. You guys, like, a lot of people are so prideful that they want to act like, oh, everything they think and everything they stand for is wrong. We have to be able to say when we agree or when something, it's why is it so hard for people? The only thing I think about Bernie Sanders is that he's old. He is old. But he's still got his wits about him. Like, I don't despise him like I despise a lot of the other people. You didn't have Android? Oh, what do you think about the conspiracy theory that Meghan Markle used surrogates? I wouldn't put it, I wouldn't say it's totally far out there. I think a lot of people like Chrissy Teigen, I think there's a lot of people out there that claimed they've had babies and they're not their babies. Hey, Nick, they call Kensington Zombie Land. Yep, because the streets are filled with drug addicts staggering. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Nick. Yeah. And it's, how is that being allowed to go on? I mean, they're doing nothing. Well, I heard that they're starting to clean up the streets now a little bit, but how at all is this open rug air market allowed to be happening? And police they'll sit there and watch people shoot up, because they want depopulation. And you guys, it's disgusting, but when it comes to those types of things and weapons and all that, America is involved in a lot of it. And so oh, I know. Kensington's nothing in comparison to LA Skid Row. Oh gosh, really? I haven't seen Skid Row in a long time, but Seattle is getting really bad. Bro, The Walking Dead, that funny because me and my mom were watching High School of the Dead. It's an anime show. Oh, yeah. Seattle is just like it, you know? And why is it? Why is it that these are all Democrat-run states? Ding, ding, ding. Hello. Where's all your money going? There's so much money in these states, but this is being allowed? Nobody's doing anything for these states. These appointed people are doing nothing. Hello, Brian. You know what I mean? Well, if they arrest the drug addict, what do they do with them? Right. I've seen clips of it. Yeah, if you go on YouTube, there's all kinds of people that cover Kensington. That's the issue. What do you do with the drug addict? Well, like with my brother, they ended up, they had a program where instead of saying, okay, you're going to jail, they offered him treatment. Which I like that idea because jail, they're just going to do their time, get out and keep going. But if they offer them treatment, which is a great thing, they have the opportunity. For my brother, it worked. After so many years of him being on drugs, right? He's gone into treatment once before. He stayed clean like 6 months, and then he got, back out on stuff. But this time, he went 5 years, and then he had one slip up, and he was very honest about it. He told us all, and now he's clean again. But a lot of people don't want that help, okay? They don't want to go to treatment. They don't want to quit. But what frustrates me is because it's state funded, right? So then there's these people that go in and out and in and out and in and out. And it's a lot of money that's just being wasted. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think throwing them in jail does any good at all. Some of these people are just too far gone. Yep, I'm at the last episode in season 1, just season. Oh, the anime is the anime series. You guys, Dexter comes on July 11th. The new season of Dexter. How exciting! Yes, because I've seen people just standing on the corner like a statue for hours and not moving. Nick, it's the craziest thing. You see people like this. Watch. So, you see these videos, and there's people like this. Ow. I could not do that for too long. But they are. They're just hung over like that. And then they're like, that's why they call them zombies. It's like, just wait for their heads to start spinning around. But yeah, how is this allowed? These are human beings. And the horse tranquilizers and, in with the Fetty and all that, it's like they're getting those disgusting wounds on their body, where literal maggots are growing inside, like their flesh you can see the wound open, and you can see the maggots crawling around in this flesh. It's awful. So how, and it's really sad, but it's like, at what point, hold on. At what point, you guys, you can't force somebody to go to treatment, right? You can't force somebody to quit drugs. You can't. And then they're homeless, right? So you don't want to give them a free place to live, because we know what's going to happen there. So how do you deal with it? How do you look at Lisa? She has no interest in getting clean. All she wants is money so she can keep doing her rugs. She's been offered treatment over and over and over. But she can't be forced to go to treatment. She just can't. So what do? What do you do? Imagine living in Kensington and having an apartment with people outside. I'd be gone. There's no way in hell I'd stay there. Yep, it's just season 1. No other seasons. And I think there's like 12. I mean, I love it when there's a lot of episodes and stuff. Let's see. Orange County and LA, California is the same. Is it, Donna? Yes, because I've seen people just, let's see. What did Jim say? Whoa, what do you mean, touch you? Huh? What is that? Touch me, I wanna feel your body. Oh my gosh, I don't know, you guys, this world is crazy. Just prepare for Jesus to return, because I think it's coming soon. I mean, too much. It's a street in Philadelphia, I believe, and this guy just rides around filming how horrible it is. Nobody normal. Yeah. Oh, yes. It's called, I think I'm subscribed to that channel. I'll tell you the name of it. You tell me if it's correct. He rides around on his bike and he's got his camera, GoPro or whatever it is. I'll tell you the name of it. Hold on a second. Tales from the Streets. Is that what it? Hold on. Tales from the Streets. Is it this one? I don't know if, is that the one who's on his bike? What do you think about all the people that have been struck by lightning and have died? When? I didn't hear about that. Who's been struck by lightning? What? A scooter. He rides a scooter. Yeah, it's so sad. Ugh, God, I can't stand Bob Ferguson. He's disgusting. Random people in different states of father that had 3 daughters in Florida was struck by lightning and died in. When was that? I haven't heard anything about that. Hold on. Let me see something. Is it already 11, you guys? What the hell? Two days ago. It says, in recent days, several incidents of people being struck by lightning have occurred in Florida. Is it just been Florida? Including one family, one fatality. On Friday, a 29-year-old man on his honeymoon died from his injuries. The strike occurred while he was standing in ankle-deep water. Separately, a group of people on Anna Maria Island were struck under a cabana, with one person injured. Additionally, 2 golfers were indirectly struck at a golf course in New Smyrna Beach. These incidents highlight the ongoing risk of lightning strikes in Florida, especially during the summer months. So the breakdown of the recent events New Smyrna Beach, a 29-year-old man was struck and killed while on his honeymoon. Anna Maria Island, a group of people under a cabana on Holmes Beach were struck, resulting in 1 injury. Venetian Bay Golf Course, 2 people were indirectly struck by lightning while golfing. And Navarra Beach, a diner was struck by lightning but sustained only minor injuries. A diner was it? Florida is known for its higher number of lightning strikes and is often referred to as the lightning capital of the United States. The state experiences frequent thunderstorms, particularly during the summer months. That's crazy. And here's a video.
Together or apart, Pet Libro keeps your lives in sync. Because what's best for you?
Well, this week we've had a number of lightning-related incidents across the Southeast. In South Carolina, 20 people were injured at a lake when lightning struck.
South
and a Colorado
Carolina.
man on his honeymoon died after being struck by lightning on the beach in Florida. Let's bring in CBS News national correspondent
South
Dave
Carolina,
Alcott, who joins us now from Florida. Dave, what led to this deadly strike?
Hi, Elizabeth. Yeah, it was this kind of severe weather we get in Florida, which is the #1 state for all
Johnny.
lightning strikes. This is really tragic. It was a 29-year-old man here from Colorado on his honeymoon, as you mentioned. He was struck by lightning. The authorities told our Orlando affiliate that they did CPR on the beach. They brought him to the hospital, but then, Elizabeth, tragically, he did die the next day.
It doesn't say
We
anything
talk about
the
how
3
rare it
girls.
is to be struck by lightning, but you're actually following another story
Oh, you live
where
in
20 people
Florida?
were injured from 1 strike at a lake. How does something like that even happen?
Nick, I wouldn't either.
Because of the power of lightning, there were 20 people who were just west of Columbia, South Carolina, and they were on the lake. A lot of those people went to the hospital. Many of them were minors. But let me just show you something right here. How big do you think a lightning strike is? It looks huge in the sky. This is how big a lightning strike is, just about the size of a
Really,
broom handle
Robert?
or so. But it only lasts for a fraction of a second. It glows white hot in the sky, hotter than the surface of the sun, and then it's gone. It's an incredible force on this planet. Elizabeth, we spent some time just minutes ago in a lightning lab here in Palm Beach County, where we went in there, we saw a giant 1.2 megavolt generator that the Florida Power and Light Company actually uses to generate a lightning strike or a simulated lightning strike to see how their equipment would hold up. Tomorrow morning on CBS Mornings, when you join us at 7:30 a.m., we are going to bring you into that lab. We're going to fire up that generator and press the button, and we can see the power of lightning here just in a building here in West Palm Beach. But it is, again, the lightning capital of the United States, and it's very, very dangerous. We'll show you the power of lightning tomorrow morning.
Yeah, when you talk about a lightning strike being hotter than the surface of the sun, that'll shake people out of bed.
Jeez.
That's amazing, the power.
It will. And lightning
That's
and thunder.
Scary, you guys. Four women survive after lightning strikes hut during Florida storm. 1 dead, several injured after lightning strikes across Southeast. Massachusetts man honeymooning in Florida dies after being struck. Can you imagine going on a honeymoon, you guys? That's near you, Nick? Oh my gosh, be careful. Little girl threw a sock on the telephone power line, got a ladder and a stick to get it down, and got electrocuted, almost died. Her skin just, oh my God. Why would they go up there and do that? Can you imagine? Can you imagine being on your honeymoon and your spouse gets struck and dies? Wow. God, here's the honeymoon. Here's the guy. Oh, that's him. Oops, damn it. How sad. Oops. Oh my gosh. Someone's been hit by lightning on the beach. Oh, this is the... I want to hear it. I can't... Oh.
Fell victim to a
Here it
phenomenon
is.
known as blue
Hold on. Can I rewind it? Hold on.
sky lightning. Literally a
Well, I want to go backwards. Hold on.
bolt out of the clear blue sky.
Lightning bolts sort of come out from that thunderstorm and can occur as much as even 10 or even 15 miles away from where that core of that thunderstorm is, in many cases where there is blue skies.
So far this year, we've seen 4 deaths due to lightning.
Wow. How sad. Hold on. Tanner Martin has died. Who's Tanner Martin?
Hey, it's me, Tanner. If you're watching this, I am dead.
Tanner Martin has died following his battle with stage 4 colon cancer.
Everyone, I had a heck of a life.
The Utah influencer was diagnosed in 2020 when he was 25 years old. That news motivated him and wife Shea Wright to live life to the fullest and publicly share their journey.
She probably needs some time to grieve, so I wanted to make a video where she could just post
25
it.
years
and you guys
old,
would know,
you guys.
And she could take a break as long as she needed to from social media.
Their social media accounts have highlighted and educated people on end-of-life preparations and cancer awareness.
Let's have a red carpet premiere event of Tanner's life story, and it can be basically celebration of life with funeral.
It was special. Like I
And he
really
died
treasure
from
that
colon
day and that
cancer
time
at
I had before I
25.
done it.
In October of 2024, Tanner and Shea shared their story with Inside Edition Digital.
So it's very therapeutic for me to have, we call it your grief witnessed. So just people seeing the heart and not hiding it, being very open about it was very helpful, because then it felt less like I was doing it alone.
25 years old.
In May, Tanner was able to see the birth of their daughter, Amy Lou.
Hey, there's 2 lines. You got the bun in the oven.
They had a baby.
Along with his final message, another video showed Tanner's last wish for followers to support the family's GoFundMe.
I just wanted to ask you guys.
How heartbreaking, you guys. God, what the hell is going on? How does a 25-year-old get colon cancer? That's unbelievable. How about the YouTube influencer Save a Fox? Committed suicide after being bullied online. She had over 1 million subscribers. That's right. I heard about that just the other day. And thank you for the 35 thumbs up, you guys. I did hear about that. And then I heard somebody tried to blame it on TikTokers or something. And supposedly it wasn't this group of TikTok. I don't know. But I heard it was an animal rescue type channel, and she took her own life. How disgusting. People drive people to that, and people get off on it. This is my last raspberry cheesecake yogurt bar. People get off on that stuff, you guys. What is wrong with the world? This is my dinner. You're trying to crash your best friend's sister's wedding one? Hello, Beth. These are so good, you guys. I need to buy some more. So I did try that powder. Remember I showed you the powder I bought? I did try that today, and it's not bad. Yeah, she had over 1 million subscribers. Powder. Yes, it's a probiotics. It's got vegetables and greens and fruits and stuff. I'll give you a bite. You guys, you have to try these. They are good. Anyway, I've been on here almost 2 hours. I'll be on tomorrow. Sosa's gonna come. I have to take him and give him a bath. He needs a bath. So I'm gonna take him on his little walkies and take him for a bath. Your birthday's tomorrow, Donna? What happened to my voice? Donna? Happy birthday, sweetie. Aw. What are you doing? What are you doing for your birthday, hon? Anything special? It kind of makes me sad because now that I'm so old, like my birthday, I feel doesn't even matter anymore. You know, when you get old, nobody celebrates it. David, this is good. Going to the beach? Nice. You're not in no, you're not in Florida. You're 61? I thought you were in your 50s. Everybody wish Donna a happy birthday. Oh, I just got brain freeze and throat freeze. When was your birthday? Alaskan known? I was a couple of years ago. That's right. You have a young boyfriend. That's right. Well, he better treat you good, because you're a sweetheart. He better be good to you, honey. Tell him I'll come for him. Oh, your birthday is today. Happy birthday to you as well, honey. And yeah, and your grandkids celebrated it? 40 minutes, your birthday will be over. He does. I'm just tired now, and he's not. I know. Wait. I know what you mean. Pretty soon, I will be celebrating birthdays because I've lived that long. Aww. You guys are disgusting. Okay, I better go. You guys. Or we could go hang out. I don't know. I don't know what else we would talk about. It's already been 2 hours, so I guess not. I was gonna say
Power
we
on.
could go chat while I lay down in my room, but I'll just come on tomorrow. Excuse me. Good night, Donna. Enjoy your birthday, hon. See you guys later. Thank you for the 34 thumbs up. It's funny, whenever you mention thank you for thumbs up, people like take their thumbs up away. It's crazy how they do that. It's like Indian givers. Good night, AAA. Good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. And you'll see Sosa too. He'll be here in the morning. Oh, hopefully my son doesn't bring him too early because I do kind of want to sleep in a little bit. Even though I was off today, I didn't know that I was going to be off for sure. So I got up to get ready to go to work. So once I'm awake, it's hard for me to go back to bed, you know? I did my laundry today. I did go to work at the other property for a short time, an hour and a half. So I did work on my day off, on my vacation. I kind of wish you would let me see them before you zap them. It is my job, but you see it first. Yeah, when he says, oh yeah, suck it, I'm like, Robert, you don't have to do it all by yourself, honey. I can help out every once in a while. All right, you guys, maybe I'll come on in the morning. It's been a long time since we've had breakfast together. Well, we had breakfast for dinner the other night. I do remember that. I got adjusted today, and all of a sudden, my neck is hurting. It's also these boobs. I'm telling you, they're so heavy, and I really wish I didn't have them. I've kind of been experiencing a little bit of, just a little bit of empty nest again, you know, because I'm still going through that thing where I'm not needed, you know, and I heard somebody else talking about that, and it just kind of reminded me, I know exactly what she's talking about. I know that feeling when, you know, you've been taking care of other people for so long, and then it's like it's just you, and you have to hear your own thoughts. You have to feel everything, like things slow down and it's not so chaotic. I think that's why I even work on my days off too, is because I need to stay busy, or I start thinking about things, you know, thinking about things that I've gone through, like she was talking about. And it's like, it's true, you know, women for so long, we take care of others. I mean, some men do too, but you know, we take care of others, and when we're not needed the same anymore, it's hard. It's really hard. So when we're in that those quiet moments, it's rough. You're not gonna read it because you're lesbian. Learn how to spell, Anna. But then I have hit view message to see what, oh yeah, you can still see what they said. Okay, love you guys. Love you, Robert, Donna, everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow. It's so weird. I'm going to be off until the 7th. It's going to be so cool. You're chopped. Okay. See you later. Have a good evening, guys. Oh, it's late for you guys. If it's 11 for me, it's like 2 for some of you, like Robert. Good night, honey. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.